This is a Polaris 2022 Razor Pro XP review. I've owned Razors for 12 years now. This is my second build. The first one was a Polaris 800 that was built into a 904 K&T turbo big bore stroker. And it's kind of sad because I bought this new and improved 181 horsepower 2022, and the old one that I sold was a 2010 with a 904 big bore stroker, like I said, that was built with Carlo rods, pistons, and all the good stuff. And it wouldn't beat this in the top end, but it would definitely beat this in the lower end, all the way up to 75, 80 miles an hour. And this would outrun it with the transmission. That's about it. So horsepower wise, it's still impressive, it's fun, but I need more power already, I can already tell. So I will probably Evo it or do some weird tune on it. First things first, the wheels and tires that it comes with. The tires are okay, they're 8-ply, they're pretty tough. The wheels are garbage. If you ride in rough terrain, within the first 100 miles, I bent a wheel and cracked a wheel. So obviously I went to ZRP racing wheels and tires, which were $4,600, a little bit expensive. Those are Tensors. They are 33s, and I've only gotten them to rub one time. I have 350 miles, 360 miles on the unit. The tires are awesome. They're very capable, and made it a really smooth ride. They are tough though. They are a little rougher than expected. Obviously, the first thing you buy when you get a Razor is you got to do spring therapy kit, like always, of course, because Razor sends them with junk springs, and we all know that the springs are garbage from the factory. Polaris has known this for years, yet they keep putting their shitty springs on these frickin' Razors, and I do not know why. The other thing that I did notice is they did upsize the frame tubing. It got a little bit better and thicker looking, bigger looking, but it's still very thin, very weak. You can tell that the frame is very thin, not as tough. The other thing that's very disappointing that I had to do on my old one, I had to put gusset kits everywhere where the A-arms are. You think they would have upsized their framing here, but still, same issues with Polaris. The frame is not thicker in any of the mounting brackets for the A-arms, and so you know those will wear out eventually because it is softer steel. Another complaint that I really have with Polaris, another cheap thing, is the fender clips. They use the cheapest fender clips they can probably buy, China made. They wear out very fast. The other thing is with the build, the Nerf bars from Polaris. I have Polaris doors, Polaris Nerf bars, Polaris front bumper, rear bumper, roof. That whole build was $30,000 out the door from Polaris. The doors are beautiful, I love them, except for one thing. They drag right there. This one I've actually adjusted up to where it doesn't drag, and it's starting not to drag, but when you get mud or any debris on there, it just tears those up. Just like that. The interior, like I said, very cheap, very plastic. This came out of here. I already found a bolt down on the bottom. I used Loctite on everything. I know those weren't from me coming out. Interior's pretty nice. It rides great. The seats are awesome, but it's cheap for what you spent on it. Very, very cheap products. You can tell they baseline it. Needs mud flaps. They put flutes in here. I don't know why they put these flutes. I think somebody called them mud flutes. That, when you don't have these doors on, or when you have the factory stuff on, throws mud right into the interior. Horrible, horrible design. The other thing we went with, like always, you have to go with the particle separator right out of the gate. S&B makes one that's designed for this rig. It fit in perfect. It took a little bit to do it right, and to run the wiring right, I zip tied it the entire route and made it clean and routed it through the plastics. You have to pop off all the plastics, get inside. It was a pain in the ass, but actually came out pretty decent. Added the Axion mirrors. Those were pretty good. Those are pretty nice. Get the convex mirrors like always. That way you get the bulbous eyes and the the bulbous fisheye look instead of a straight mirror. If you don't get convex, you'll be disappointed because you won't be able to see everything. So that's my build, guys. I'm very happy with it. So far, it is very capable. No belt slippage. In low, it does seem to have a rev limiter, which kind of frustrates me a little bit. It shouldn't have a rev limiter in low. But all in all, 360 miles, no issues. Second oil change is coming up soon, just to tune it up and use the Polaris oil. I'm very happy with the rig. The only thing that I did not like is from the factory, the ass and the rear spring sag. So I let my brother ride it. Like I said, we cracked a rim the first time, and you won't be able to see it. Maybe I'll do another video. We actually caught the rear end and the transmission, which is the same thing, and we took a big chunk out of it. So now I have a 1/2-inch aluminum skid plate with a skid plate, or a 1/2-inch skid plate with an 1/8-inch skid plate on top of it, which was $1,000. Because if you ride in rocky conditions, you will clip your rear end and you may possibly break your transmission because they're piss poor springs that they give you from the factory, and the ass end sags really, really low, down to probably about 8 inches when you punch it, or if you have any load in these. The other thing is payload and total weight capacity on these, not payload, but total weight capacity is 750 pounds. Bumper 50, bumper 50, roof 30, there's 130. Wheels and tires maybe added some weight. A 70 to 80 pound skid plate with my 110 pound wife and myself in there. We're probably almost at capacity already for weight. Kind of disappointing, honestly, for the weight capacity in these things. So if you ride two 250 pound guys and all the gear on it, you're already pushing the limitations of your clutch. So far, no clutch slippage. The shocks handle awesome so far. I'm very happy with the build still. I'm not complaining about it. But for what you spend and what you get, it's very disappointing, and Polaris keeps shoveling out crappy products off and on for the higher prices they're charging. But like I said, you go into it knowing what you get. So I am happy with my purchase, and this UTV is very great. Thank you.